Hi. Welcome to a new reading vlog. I'm not even focusing my there we go. Always. It is Monday night. Currently reading Rule of Wolves. I'm trying to finish it tonight, but I'm gonna have to stay up a bit late because we'll get there. I started Persephone Station today, which is an audiobook. So there's that. I'm like 20% through. Let me check. 21%, so yeah, 20% through. I'm enjoying it. It's interesting. I'm liking the writing style. I don't think I quite know what's going on yet though, but I'm enjoying it. I also read 4 shorts this morning, which are the 4 shorts that go with the Famous Files by Sylvain Newell. I didn't know they existed till I was trying to add this to my Goodreads and found them. So yeah, I read all those. They were really quick and fast, but you know, I currently have like just under 250 pages left of Rule of Wolves. I'm enjoying it. There are a few recurring moments of character development, I guess that's how you can describe it, where they're kind of having the same internal conversations a few times. It's starting to get repetitive, but the general plot progression is really interesting and some really brutal things have happened. I do think, which is a common problem I have, not many authors manage to pull at my heartstrings expertly enough to make me really upset about a plot moment, and very often something as simple as the way a paragraph is structured will mean I don't feel the impact of a scene to its full capacity. And there was one like scene that afterwards I was like, oh, that was sad, but when it happened I didn't do the you know what I mean? So like 2 different levels, and I think I was meant to do that, but I just didn't quite get there. So that was a bit annoying, like disappointing, but we'll see how the rest of this goes. I am really interested in how it's going to wrap up or not wrap up in these last 250 pages. I've heard from some people that it's like the best ending ever, and I've heard from other people that like it leaves a lot of strings left untied for a Six of Crows 3. So I don't know, but I am interested to see where it goes. I'm curious. And yeah, I'm hoping to finish it tonight. And then tomorrow, I'm hoping to read all of this. Help me. I did actually use an Audible credit to get the audiobook for this because I really liked the Famous Files audiobooks. I thought they were amazing. So I'm going to read along with the audiobook of this, so I think that will help me get it read in spick and span time, because I can just read it on 3 times speed audio. I think it's like a 9-hour audiobook, and zoom my way through it. Well, it's 11:30. We're in our favorite double chin position. And I just finished Rule of Wolves. I did it. I have thoughts. I think I'm gonna give it a 4 stars. There were some components I really enjoyed and others that I thought were just underdeveloped. The whole plotline following the big twist from the end of book 1, for end of King of Scars, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I was really unhappy with that. I feel like the character progression just didn't make sense. Like, I didn't feel like it was grounded in anything. And it just felt very convenient to like wrap up an ending. And personally, I didn't think it made sense for the character or had any logical development. But every other plotline I really enjoyed. I thought the plotline with Nina was really interesting. It gave me whiplash, but I enjoyed it. Do I think maybe Nikolai and Zoya's plotline was a bit convenient in the end? Yes. Did I enjoy it anyway? Yes. Did I enjoy the nod to the dregs? Yes. And the little role they played in this. Yeah, I did. Do I like where obviously the setup for the third, hopefully final Six of Crows book is gonna go. Yes, but it is rooted in that other thing that I didn't like. So on the one hand, like, the setup for it I think is dumb, but am I excited for another heist? Yes. You see. So yeah, I think there were some convenient things, some things that I just think came out of nowhere. Not came out of nowhere, just they weren't justified well. Like, I don't know. I feel like okay, spoiler alert, I'm just gonna come out and spoil here, but please move away if you don't want to see them for the next, like, couple of minutes, or 30 seconds maybe. I just don't think, like, I know some people think the Darkling is very morally grey, and that's why they see, like, the attraction between Alina and the Darkling. I never felt the Darkling was morally grey. I felt like he had a goal but was corrupted by power, and let everything, like, on that kind of thing of, like, well, if I've done this one thing to get to my goal, why can't I do the next terrific thing and the next terrific thing, and so on and so forth, and lose all sense of boundaries and morals. So then through this book, him suddenly getting a sense of moral made no sense to me. Like, I don't think it doesn't make sense for someone to suddenly develop a set of morals when they've allowed themselves to step past that line of, like, what will you do for the thing you want, and when you've already determined that's literally anything including genocide, then when does that, like, why would you suddenly gain morals? Like, and I don't think he had any clear, across this book. The only thing I could think was that maybe it could have pushed the narrative, which might have been what they were going for, but I don't think it was well described if this was the case, that in completing the ritual and rebirthing himself into the body of the priest, his mind then blended with the priest, and he was returned a certain set of morals that the priest gave him, which may have been what they were going for, but I don't think it was well described. So, like, he didn't read like that to me. So it kind of felt like he was just developing morals for no good reason. So, like, if you want him to be, him being reborn is what built those morals into the body, him being reborn into the body of the priest is what built those morals, then you need to, like, have that in the narrative, not just vaguely implied. And in fact, I think it was almost implied the other way, that he was still very much himself and the priest was talking to him. And at times it really pushed that, and then at other times it was like, no, he's got morals now. Like, I don't understand. But I guess people who really think the Darkling is a morally great character and redeemable or whatever, I guess enjoy. I hope you liked it. But I just didn't get it. It didn't really make sense to me. And I think it kind of fell apart under any scrutiny. Okay, spoilers over. Yeah, so overall I really enjoyed it. I do think maybe the balance between the different acts, I guess, was a bit weird. Like, I think the final scenes and the battle sequences and stuff, like, wrapped up very fast. Like, that all happened really quickly. And it could have been more complex. Like, I feel like world-wise with the character development, it was trying to do, like, some Game of Thrones level shit, and instead, but it didn't back it up with the complex action or intrigue, and also, like, all the politics wrapped up really nicely. So that's, like, kind of part of what I meant of, like, the convenience. Like, the politics all wrapped up a little too neat parcel to be a perfect read for me. So again, not a 5 stars, but it was really enjoyable. I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I read this series and this duology, and I'll definitely be reading the Final Dregs book. Hope it's the final one, because that would be a nice little like rounding conclusion. I think it's the last open thread. I feel like if we try and go further, it'll be like digging up new holes for no reason, if that makes sense. But that's done. I'm gonna go to bed now, but tomorrow I'm gonna start 2 things. I have clinic tomorrow, so I have to go into the hospital, and I'll need a book to read there. But the book I'm wanting to start next is this, A History of What Comes Next by Sylvain Neuvel. I don't want to listen and read along with the audiobook. So if I listen to the audiobook on 3 or 3.5 speed, it's going to take me just under 3 hours or just over 3 hours, which I can totally do in the evening. So I'm going to slam through all of this tomorrow. But because of that, I don't want to take my audiobook, like I kind of I'll have to be listening out for the nurses and chatting to the nurses and stuff at the same time I'm reading. So I don't want to have like audiobook in reading, like too much going on, too many stimulus. So I'm going to pick up The Silvered Serpents by Roshni Chokshi while I'm at the clinic. Hopefully like 50 pages in, which is about how much I read last time I was waiting at the clinic for the doctor, for the specialist to look at me. And then maybe if I finish A History of What Comes Next with time to spare in the evening, I'll go back to Silvered Serpents. But yeah, that's my kind of plan for tomorrow. I'm also gonna work on listening to Persephone Station. But yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy. Hi, it's Thursday morning. Did I start this vlog? Honestly, I can't remember, but we're gonna finish it out. I'm not gonna overview, but I do have like a wet start, like as if we're in the start. So if this was the first clip, hi, welcome. It's as much as I'm giving you. I finished. Did I update you when I finished Rule of Wolves? I must have. Yes, so I have started this vlog. Tuesday, I read all of A History of What Comes Next by Sylvain Neuvel, and I really enjoyed it. I don't think I talked to you about it. I listened to the audiobook along with the physical book, and I thought it was absolutely great. If you've read his other trilogy, The Sleeping Giants, The Themis Files, it's similar in style-esque, but this one's historical and follows a mother and daughter who are kind of clones of each other, but like a natural kind of clone, and they just know that their life's mission is to get people to space, and they're manipulating things during the like end of World War II to kind of get that happening, and like starting the space race. I'm interested to see where book 2 will move into, but that's kind of the coverage of book 1. It's pretty brutal. It doesn't shy away from graphic violence, and it's told in like, it's not in prose, it's just stream of conscious thought and dialogue, the same way Sleeping Giants is just dialogue. It's like the Dossier Files. This one has some thought, but a lot of it's just straight dialogue. It doesn't have like he said, she said. It's just like dash dialogue. So you know different people are talking, but it's a distinct style. And why I listened along with the audiobook is because Sylvain Neuvel's audiobooks are always full cast narrated with every voice, like every character having a different voice actor. And I think it's done so well. Like I don't know if it was designed with audiobook in mind, but it works really well for a full cast audiobook. And I really enjoyed all the audiobooks for the Themis Files. Like I listened to all of them to read them. I didn't read them with my eyes. I wanted to read this with my eyes because I wanted to try it out, but I also wanted to listen audibly, and I really enjoyed it. It was amazing. I gave it 5 stars. It was just so cool and so brutal. It has a lot of similarities in theme, I guess, to the Lady Astronaut series. If you've read that, I can't remember what the first book is called, and I've lent it to a friend, so I don't have my copy. But it's like a meteor hits Earth and requires the space race to be sped up. to get off world, like with Earth is going to be inhabitable and it's the space race sped up. And you follow a woman who had a scientist background, but she ends up working as a computer, but she really wants to go to space. And her husband builds rockets, I think. And I love that series. I can't wait to read book 2. I loved book 1. I've read some short stories with it, and the third book is now out. I think the third book is called The Relentless Moon. And I am like, I can't wait to keep reading that series. It's one of the ones on my TBR that I keep looking at, like. The Calculating Stars, I think, is the second one, maybe. And it kind of reminded me of that in a lot of the rocket stuff. Probably because both are quite technical, but in a way you don't need to know that knowledge. It kind of provides it for you. But yeah, I really, really loved it. And then moving on from that, I've been reading The Silvered Serpent by Roshni Chokshi. I'm just over halfway and I'm really, really enjoying it. I forget how readable these are, but I have to go find a recap of this book because I forgot lots of what happened at the end of The Gilded Wolves, but I'm recapped now and I'm loving it. They're so angsty. I was trying to sell these to April and Paige, and how I described them was like Indiana Jones plot if all the characters were Shadowhunter characters, like all that angst and like dramatic character development. This is that. Honestly, I don't think it has Six of Crow vibes at all. Like, the closest comparison to Six of Crows that you can make with this is that they both do heists. Like, that's it. And I think this one runs much more Indiana Jones-esque because they're doing heists for artifacts. So it's got, like, the artifacts kind of vibe. Like, obviously, this critiques and reflects on colonialist values. Roshni Chokshi's Filipino and Indian, I think. So it talks a lot about colonialism and like a lot of the characters are really diverse from diverse different backgrounds, and it reflects on that, and also like critiques the fact that these like rich wealthy groups are going after relics from around the world for their magical value. Like, these relics have magical value, which is kind of why they're being collected, but it still talks about like the collecting artifacts, and it's set right during the peak of that kind of era, like late 1800s. And so I feel like that really has Indiana Jones vibes. And then yeah, angsty dramatic characters, very Cassie Clare-esque, and I love it to pieces. I can understand why people don't like them, but like I don't at the same time. Like, I think people expected the world building to be more deliberate than it is, I think, but it is what it is. I'm aiming to finish that today, as well as Persephone Station, which is the audiobook I'm currently listening to. This weekend though, like tomorrow, I want to read all of The Echo Wife, and then over the weekend I want to read 3 books. I want to read The Project by Courtney Summers, which I'm going to read along with the audiobook and hopefully get like halfway through it each day of the weekend. And then on Saturday I want to read The Midnight Library. Actually no, Saturday I want to read Beyond the Ruby Veil, and then Sunday I'm going to read The Midnight Library. Can I actually do it? Probably not, but we're going to try. We're going to try our little heart off. And that is so that next week, which obviously coming up to the end of the month, I'm trying to read all of that so that I'll only have to read 200 physical pages a day next week. But today, like, I'm determined to get to the end of this today, but we also have tonight, we're going to see the Pierce Brothers. I've been reading about the Pierce Brothers in my personal life, and probably a little bit in vlogs. When their album came out, I was talking about it quite a bit. We're seeing the concert tonight. I say concert, that sounds really formal. It's a gig. They're playing at one of the local pubs, and it's going to be great. It's not my favourite venue in town, but it'll be fun. It's just one of those places with sticky floors, you feel what I mean? But I'm really excited about it. It's the first time hearing them play new stuff live, so obviously that's exciting. But it will mean I will have less time to read. So I'm going to try and, especially in the evening, just want to get a lot of my reading done. So I'm going to try and prioritize little moments in my day to try and get through this. At least it's super fast paced. So there we go. That's my really long update because I'd forgotten to update you. Haha, thanks, bye. We've got a gig tonight, so fit check. I'm in these overalls. I've already popped a button. I think it was my pump strap, my vacuum pump. Can't avoid it, it's gotta stay on. But yeah, this is my fit. This is my fit. Alright, hi. Last time I talked to you, we were getting ready for the gig. It was great. I had a great time. I didn't film any of it. I made a plan to at one point, and then I just ended up like dancing the whole night. Made myself very puffed, very sweaty. All I did was scream and dance, which, like, scream sing, but like scream and dance. And it was a great time. I had a marvelous time. And then we hightailed it out of there as soon as the gig was over. Because Josie wasn't feeling well. So we like sprinted home. But I did buy the new record. And I'm so happy. It was just my serotonin for the month released. It was just like, I could go to Pierce Brothers gigs like every night. Like every night. It would be great. But today, back on the topic of reading, I finished Persephone Station just before. It's now like mid-afternoon and I've been doing work and listening along while I work. And I ended up giving this a 3 stars, though I honestly think it's largely more on the part of the audiobook than the book itself. The audiobook narrator kind of, it's like limited third person perspective, but it meant she didn't differentiate well between the perspectives, so I sometimes had a hard time following along with who was talking, who we were in the head of, kind of thing. And so it made it a bit confusing. Plus there were some characters with similar names that like were pronounced the same even if they would have looked differently on paper, so that kind of made things a little bit difficult for me to follow. There's a lot of characters, a lot of things going on, and it took till right near the end of this like 500-page book for me to really feel like I'd solidified who was who and what was going on. But the actual world and the premise and even a lot of the characters were really interesting. It was just like the delivery of the audiobook kind of let the whole piece down for me. So that's why I gave it 3 stars. I feel like if I had read it physically, it would probably have been a 4 stars. But it just impacted my enjoyment with the audiobook being confusing. But it wasn't bad enough for me to DNF the audiobook and try it physically. You know what I mean? Like, it was just not quite perfect. But I think if you like sci-fi, you will really enjoy this. I thought it was fun. It was really fun. It just wasn't perfect. Next up, I've started listening to Ring Shout by Ignore All the Smudges, P. Djèlí Clark. I am loving it so far, but I've barely started. Like, I'm probably like 2% in. But it is already lots of fun. 5%, wow. I'm going to finish it over the weekend, try to get through as much as I can today. And just do it in those times where I don't have any other option but to read over the weekend. And we'll kind of go from there. But yes, and then today. Hi, it's Saturday morning. It's almost lunchtime. The nurse is coming any minute, but I wanted to let you know that I finished this last night. I ended up giving it 5 stars, but as I said in my Goodreads review, it's like a 4 for technical execution and like a 5 for emotional manipulation. Like, I was destroyed. How could it end like that? How rude and offensive. I need book 3 like yesterday. But on the same vein, I do think there's some things that like could be perfected in the plot and world building. Like, sometimes I just feel like motivations aren't as well developed as they could be. Like, for the main characters, yes, but for side characters and the villains feel a little bit mustache twirly. The magic system isn't always clear as to what the limitations are until like suddenly they apply, and then so it seems a bit like retconned limitations to the magic system. It's not clearly described, but emotionally it's so good. So like I put this, like I was saying, it's like Cassie Clare, and in particular like Infernal Devices meets Indiana Jones. And I feel like on the Shadowhunters front, like the drama, the angst, the interpersonal relationships, the everyone being wholesome and, or like somewhat wholesome, and trying really hard and wanting and yearning, but different miscommunications and environmental factors meaning they don't communicate well, and everyone hurting because they're not communicating well, is so good. Like emotionally, I love this series. I think it's fantastic. So do I think it's technically perfect? No, not at all, but I do think it hits all the emotional beats and I feel it in my soul, and that ending destroyed me. I think the first one, the ending maybe hit a bit harder in that it felt like it was building for a little bit more. This the angst was all the way through, so the ending didn't feel like it kind of like built to a crescendo of angst as much as the first one did. But like, I can't wait to reread the series as a complete whole and feel pain. Really, I really want to see where book 3 ends up, because like, I can't wait. If it gets pushed, like this got pushed for almost a year, the first one got pushed for like a year, if the third one gets pushed, I'm gonna cry. It's due out in September. It better actually come out in September. I'm gonna lose it. Thanks. Thanks. But I loved it to pieces. That's my review. I've also read 50 pages last night of The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. I'm about to dive back into this now, but I just watched the first episode of Shadow and Bone, which I feel like everyone from the book community who's really into Shadow and Bone and Grisha has the same opinion. Like, we could have just blind casted Jessie Bailey as Alina and not delved into unnecessary racism. Like, you didn't need to add in racism for your diverse brownie points. It didn't feel necessary, but like, Jessie Bailey is a star. I love them. They're amazing. And I want them to succeed and thrive in life. Who else am I loving? Jesper is very, the guy playing Jesper, and Jesper as a character is very charming. I'm enjoying Kaz so far, but apparently everyone thinks Kaz goes downhill. I haven't really met the Darkling yet, but I'm a Ben Barnes stan, so we'll get there. I didn't hate Mal, but I didn't hate Mal in the books either. I just found their relationship less developed. I'm not a Darklina stan. I loved Inej. I loved Zoya. I'm pretty sure Nikolai's not in this season, but he's in season 2, or gonna be in season 2. So that will be nice, because I want Nikolai. And having just finished reading Rule of Wolves, Zoya is a babe. I love her, and I love to see her. She's amazing. Living for Zoya. Yeah. I'm waiting for Nina. Nina didn't come in the first episode, and I'm not marathoning it. I refuse. I have other things I need to do. I can't dedicate my weekend just to marathoning Shadow and Bone, so I'm spreading it out, one a day for like the next week. Or at least that's my plan. It may change, but that's my plan. And so I haven't met Nina yet, but Inej, Zoya. Like, I didn't even remember Zoya very well from the original trilogy. Like, obviously she plays a much bigger role in King of Scars. Like, I vaguely remember her role in the original trilogy, but like, she didn't stand out to me. But Zoya, babe, hit me up. I'm having a good time. Who knows, I may watch another episode today, we'll see. Or maybe I'll make Jessie watch that episode again. We'll see. Yes, I'm gonna go read The Echo Wife. We're going out for lunch today. My plan for today, it's ambitious, but we're gonna try and do it, is to read all of The Echo Wife, half of The Project, work on Ring Shout, which is the audiobook I'm currently listening to. I'm gonna listen to this, read along with the audiobook, so it doesn't quite count, but the audiobook I'm gonna listen to while making dinner is Ring Shout. And I also want to get through a large chunk of Beyond the Ruby Veil today. So we're being ambitious, but we're gonna do it. Yeah. Hi, it's Sunday. I'm about to try and get dressed, but I forgot to update you last night. I mean, I fell asleep before I updated you. I finished The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. I loved it to pieces. It was so good. I think it really did a great job of embracing like the way science and academia work. Like it felt right for that. Like someone who works in that space, I didn't feel like it was done poorly. It's just like people who have no experience often do it a bit dodge. I really enjoyed it. We basically follow Evelyn, who is a pioneer in the work of developing clones for like security purposes, like as a product that you like buy a clone for a period of time, that they're meant to be like a temporary tool, and that's how she develops, like is ethically allowed to make them because they're not their own people, they're tools. But then and it's kind of all in development. She's like working on them. They haven't quite hit market yet. And then her husband leaves her for a clone of herself, and things just get dramatic and very intriguing. And I honestly loved how the whole thing developed. It was so good. It's a pretty short story. Like it's a novel length, but it's very short on the novel length. It's only like 250 pages. And I thought it was amazing. I thought it was so well constructed. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was like morally grey, dark, but also really intriguing. Again, I thought the science was done really well, and it just, it was really good. It's really good. I give it 5 stars. I didn't get to any of Ring Shout because we ended up doing tacos, which like I didn't want to be bothered going and getting headphones for my phone. But I did get 60 pages into Beyond the Ruby Veil by Mara Fitzgerald, and I'm really enjoying this as well. Totally different vibes. This is a YA fantasy following a main character, Emanuela, and she is a lesbian, but I feel like she's like, I don't know if she has a romantic love interest in this at all. I don't think she does. But she's said to be married to the like head of the town. She's like the daughter of the head of a pretty wealthy family, and the son of the head of the biggest family. They're betrothed. And her betrothed is gay, and they kind of got like an arrangement of like, cool, whatever. She's very cutthroat to the point. Like she's bratty and like pretty like up herself, but like in the like, and we're reading from her perspective, but it's kind of funny rather than like annoying. Like I'm not finding it annoying, but she's very bratty, and I think some people will find her really abrasive and not like her, but I'm finding it hilarious. And they live in this city that's kind of surrounded by like a pink red fog thing that you can't get through, and they don't have much water. They have one lady who converts blood to water or something. She like takes people. You get an omen on your skin, like a little splotch on your skin, and that means you're gonna die soon, so you go and give yourself up to be made into water, basically. And she's always had one splotch, and she just never went in. She just pretended she didn't have it because she didn't want to, because she's brat. And then the water lady finds out, And she ends up killing the water lady because she's a brat, and she's like, no, I want to live, and didn't really think about the fact that it meant that the city town would no longer have water. And now she's on a mission to try and get through the fog veil to get water. So that's kind of what's happening. It's very sassy. It's a very short book as well. It's only 270 pages, 280 pages. I am enjoying it quite a bit. She is so snarky and so bratty, but I don't care. It's fun. I'm gonna keep working on that now. I'm gonna go shower and then edit my unhaul, which is gonna go up today. And then I might switch over and read a little bit of the project, or I'll finish this and then read a bit of the project. I'm not quite sure what order I'm gonna do that in, but something like that. But yes, it's the plan. Also, I watched episode 2 of Shadow and Bone. I'm really enjoying it. I do think there was literally no reason to include the slurs and stuff. I totally agree on that front, but like in terms of translation of the show to the book to the show, I think it's doing a pretty good job. But I can totally understand why some people wouldn't want to watch it for that particular reason. Like that for added on for no good reason. But even the changes made for like the dregs and stuff to turn it into a show, I think all work, especially developing the world building and stuff, or at least what I've seen so far. So I'm really excited to continue, but again, I'm trying to pace myself and only watch like 1 episode a day, but we'll see.